Hello, it's me again, John Tiessen. I was going to make this long explanation why I'm making a video right now, but I'm not going to. Here's what I'm going to say, is that I hang on, I received a message from somebody, we'll just call them anonymous, and they basically asked me why I wasn't making videos and saying that Chester's name was on some child pornography site and blah blah blah, whatever. But I'm not making videos because of what Chester posted. I did actually make videos after he posted. I just a lot of things going on. I'm actually, I got a lot. I do have a lot of things going on. I'm very busy a lot of times. And, all of a sudden, a lot of things come up, and I just do a lot of different things going on. Been down to Occupy, Minnesota. I've been doing some things down there. I've been to whatever, and I got personal business going on, and I have kids too. So, I got a family, and but otherwise I'd go to New York. But I'm 51. I just turned 51. And for me, I know it's not a lot of people, because a lot of people have a lot of energy, but I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I see the protests that were going on in the 60s, and I seen the outcome of them. Okay, I mean, basically, Ronald Reagan was talked about at Woodstock and protested against in California and LA and San Francisco and all over the place. And guy became president. Okay, Nixon was bombing Cambodia long before um, Obama even thought of bombing people. You know, and he was doing the same thing Obama's doing today. Okay, so and his advisor was Kissinger. Do you understand that? Henry Kissinger was advising Nixon back in those days. And it's 2011, and he's advising Obama and Hillary Clinton and giving his 2 cents on what's going on around the world and what should be done and how to do it and who to go after. He's a middleman for the Rothschilds is what he is, but it's nothing, to me, nothing's really changed. But it doesn't mean you stop talking about it. Back in 98, I posted everything you could possibly think about my life on the internet. Everything. My family knows about me. My wife obviously knows about me. My neighbors know about me. The neighbors right here, right here, they all know about me. All the people I grew up with and went to school with, all my friends, all of my co-workers. My life's an open book, man. So people can say what they want about me and say what a horrible person I am. First of all, that's speaking with a forked tongue, but you're saying everybody has a right to do this and everybody has a right to do that, but not you convicts. You just, you can't go live any place or rent any place because no one will rent to you, and you can't work any place because no one will allow you to work. But don't you dare go out and start dealing drugs again or start stealing things again or whatever you were sent to prison for. Don't you dare do that. But we're not going to give you a slack of anything. We're just going to look down on you and make fun of you and speak bad about you and what a scumbag you are. But don't you dare go back to that life you were living before. You're leaving them no alternative. When I got out, I joined a lot of sites of ex-cons and prison groups and prison right groups and ex-con right groups. And I was very lucky. I had a lot of resources when I got out. I had a lot of money because of things I was doing, but I had a lot of resources in a lot of different places. I had to get a job. So I was lucky enough to have a place to go get a job. And I had to find a place to live. When I went in, I had to sell my house, and then I gave the money to my wife, and my wife went and rented a bungalow-like type of thing. I don't know what you call them where you're from, but we call them bungalows or duplexes here. But a side-by-side bungalow, and that's where she lived with my son. And when I got out, right before you get out, you got to make a plan of getting out. I couldn't go live with her because there is a rental property. And they wouldn't allow me to live there because I was a felon. Okay? But again, I had resources. I knew people that own apartment buildings, and I went and lived in an apartment. So basically, I was living here on this side of the town. My wife was living over here on this side of the town. Okay? Is that fair? Am I still being punished for being out? For getting out of prison? It's your society. It's your rules. I followed all the rules, and now I'm living my life the way society wants me to live. Or the way I want to live, but I just think it's unfair, you people out there that call yourself anonymous, the way you ostracize me, and because it's a child molester turning out to be true, isn't it? But some fool, redneck, wannabe army soldier, wheeling around in his house 24/7 on the fucking internet, you know, I do things on the internet too, and I can do certain things too. Okay, I'm not as tech savvy as some people out there, but I'm not a fucking idiot. Okay, I got degrees in psychology and whatever. Okay, but I did some things to figure this fool out, and I seen right through him. He's very transparent. His mind. Okay, for what I do now, I play poker, and you got to read people, and I seen just by what he was saying and whatever that he was a control freak, and most control freaks are either rapists or child molesters. Okay, and I picked him to be a child molester. Well, I still have contacts with people I did my crimes with and I was friends with, and I still talk to those people and try to turn their lives around the way I turn my life around, but I still have contacts in law enforcement who, they're crooks, but, believe it or not, some cops are crooks, and dropped a dime on this fool, and they gave him up in a heartbeat. So if you know anybody in law enforcement and want his name, give him a call, because they know who he is. But everything I've said about him is starting to turn out to be true, isn't it? And like I said it thousands of times, I got it written in my Twitter, I got it written on my Facebook, I got it written in blogs that I belong to, I got it written on my blog. I don't lie. I don't have no reason to lie, and I don't believe in lying. Because lies turn around and they come back and bite you in the ass. So if you go through life just telling the truth, no one can pin you down on anything because you're telling the truth. So I'm not making videos because of this fool. Okay? I'm not making videos because I got things to do. I got a family. Okay? And I have made videos after this fool released some things. What I did notice, though, is some people blocked me, anonymous. Some people denied knowing me, anonymous. Some people said some things about me, anonymous. Blogs and things that people DM'd me and told me about that I went to, and sure enough, there it was. That they're quoting this fucking child molester, saying, things about me. Here's the truth. He's a child molester. He's a straight out fucking child molester. He was kicked out of the service because he had child pornography on his fucking computer. And once they found it, the authorities, the law enforcement, actually did their job and started interviewing people around his neighborhood, kids, families. And it turned out that he was molesting some little boys. Okay? He was divorced. Period. You want his name? Get it yourself. I put his picture out there. Put his first name out there. Actually put a lot of things out there. He even has it on his website, who he is. But it's like in his little code because he thinks he's so fucking smart. I will never ever stop talking about the truth, about what's going on in this world and who really runs this world. Okay? I don't think anything can be changed. Okay? And I know a lot of people jumped on me for that. But that's my beliefs. Okay? I'm a Christian, but I'm not the kind of Christian you see on TV or these people that are bashing gay people or bashing Muslims or people like that. Okay, I'm a true Christian. Okay, we're supposed to love everybody. Look at the words of Jesus, and then listen to these people running for your government saying that they're speaking for Jesus. Jesus never ever said any of the things that these people are saying. Raymer or whatever the hell his name from Texas. You know, can you sleep at night knowing that you killed all these people, that you could have killed somebody innocent? Oh no, I'm perfectly fine with that. Is that a Christian? Is that something Jesus would say? Weren't they going to stone somebody? And he says, no, don't. You know, how about the person that has no sins cast the first stone? You know, so I'm a true Christian. I have no reason to lie about anything or about anybody or about my life. And if I don't want to answer a question, I don't answer it. But if I do answer a question, it's truth. Okay? So you people that kick me to the curb because of my lifestyle, you're doing exactly the same thing that you're fighting against. Okay? So you want these people to get out of prison, and you want them to do what? You want them to be ridiculed and laughed at and made fun of, you know? That's just one of many things that I'm accused of, okay? And today I still have a hard time with what I did. You know, I know I'm guilty, but it's not like I was fucking hiding in a tree and jumped down on some woman walking to school or little kids or anything like that. It's nothing like that. It was a coke whore that I picked up who promised me a blowjob if I gave her coke, and then she tried to renege on it, and I said, no, you're going to do it. That's what I said, and that's what happened, and she did it. And then when I told the police that, I convicted myself, and I couldn't get out of my statement. Okay? So you can make me out to be some guy that wears a fucking black mask and he looking around fucking rape women and shit like that. Well, it's nothing like that. Okay? She said no, and I admit that. Because I cannot lie. Okay, so you can run away from me as fast as you can, and now DMing me asking me why I don't make videos, and telling me that Jester is actually a child molester. Duh! I'm going to say it again. If I say something, it's the truth. It's the honest to God's truth. I don't lie. I can't lie, and I won't lie. If I don't want to lie about something or not answer something without lying, then I won't answer your question. Okay? Because people say, what's Margaret doing, or what's Billy doing, and what do you think about them? Well, I can either tell them the truth, which I don't want to do, or not tell them nothing. I choose not to tell them nothing. So I can't lie. So yeah, I make videos, and I still plan on making other videos. You know, and back in '98, I was doing things with Scientology, posting their personal information that someone else got, but I got a hold of it. And when they would delete it and whatever, I was posting a lot of shit about Scientology back then. Okay? It wasn't a part of 4chan or anything like that, but I knew about it. But I was that far in the movement back then. So you can kick me to the curb. That's fine. I'm used to standing by myself. Okay? I believe that people have the feeling, the idea of equality in them. Everybody. Everybody. It's just that they don't know it. Okay? And now you use it on your page, the person that sent me a DM, and say anonymous is whatever. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed when I go on these chat rooms and seeing people be censored. You know, if I ran a chat room, you could say whatever you wanted as long as it wasn't hate speech or something evil like child molestation and whatever. But if you wanted to disagree with me, say things about me, if it had a point, it wasn't just vicious, malicious shit, but we were speaking sensible, I could care less. You can say whatever you want. Everybody has a right to speak. I think the trolls in Occupy Anonymous stream are actually good for Anonymous. Okay, actually good for the movement because they show the ignorance out there with the people, just like Mitt Romney and all these other people that are saying shit and putting their own foot in their mouth that they can't run away from, like putting electrified fences on the border to kill illegal immigrants coming in. Come on in, we'll kill you. And shit like that. They fuck themselves. So leave the trolls alone. Don't censorship people. Don't ostracize people that are coming out of prison if you want them to get back in society. Accept them. Accept it because they did their time. They did exactly what your society told them to do. And now what? You're not going to give them a job? You're not, so I fight for freedom. I'm a fucking true freedom fighter. Not one of these fucking wannabes and pick and choose who I want to stick up for. I stick up for John Edwards. There's the only fucking person out there talking about the true crime going on in this world. Poverty that nobody cares about. Did he do some horrible things to his wife? Yeah, it's a family fucking deal. Judge him all you fucking want. He was speaking for poverty. He was speaking for the real poor people that nobody cares about. Nobody. I stand alone on that motherfucker. Okay, you want to grow some fucking cojones and be a true freedom fighter? Stand up like Jesus did and stand up to these kings and these so-called fucking religious leaders and tell them, no, 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 no. You're lying. I don't care who you are, Billy Graham, Joe Osteen. You're not speaking for God. I don't care who you think you are, Obama, Putin, on and on. I don't care. You're speaking for the devil, man. You ain't speaking for the people. You're speaking for the Rothschilds and the J.P. Morgans and the fucking banks of this world. Grow some fucking cojones. Don't send me DMs. Talk to me out in the open. I'm not going to give you up. I'm not going to say who you are. But talk to me out in the open. Be a man. Always remember this, that Rick Veda loves you. So do I.